welcome to Young Kids League the One YouTube channel. If this is your first time on my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red subscribe button down below and turn on the bell icon. Tell me what you think about this video in the comment section.
They stoned me on my head. I'm very fortunate that it didn't go into my eye. I could have easily lost an eye. Well, it was going to be worse than that. It was going to be, I'll explain. It was going to be worse than an eye loss. I'll explain. So let me take you back, first of all, to when the market was announced, the new Mwewa Lane market. Now, let's be clear, because some people don't understand the role I play in this market. I'm not a government employee, but I am a community stakeholder. Okay, we have a business located here on this Mwewa Lane. We have a business located within this perimeter. So as stakeholders, I've always said this, the people that should drive change in any community are invested stakeholders. Understand that, okay? If you've got a community and a tenant, let's say in Avondale, a tenant is creating a market in front of the house that he rents, that tenant is not a stakeholder in that community. The stakeholder is the owner of the house. So the owner of a house in a community is a stakeholder. Therefore, everything and anything that happens in that community, that stakeholder has the right to participate. Does that gel with you? Does that make any sense? So in the same vein, by the same token, we being Simoson Building here in this area, everything and anything that affects this business community, we are part of the stakeholders here in this community. Stakeholders are not street vendors. A street vendor is not a stakeholder. A street vendor does not pay council tax, he doesn't pay rates, he doesn't pay electricity, he doesn't pay water, doesn't pay employees. A stakeholder is a marketeer in the market, because in the market, that marketeer is paying money to the council. Council is using that money ideally to improve the community. So those are stakeholders. That is the role I play. Because I know in Zambia, you misunderstand it when you think of it that way. So having established that Simoson Building, not just us, Simoson Building, along with all the other business houses here, are stakeholders, I am the only one who has taken an active role in being part of an effort to try and at least bring sanity here. Everyone else here are Lebanese, Asian, Indian. You will never hear a cadre, a marketeer, anyone attacking an Indian or an Lebanese. Never. But because it's a black Zambian Mwewa, who is a stakeholder in this community, who simply wants functionality in this business community. For example, something as simple as making sure that the roads are clear. The road is clear, unblocked, unfettered, uninhibited. Ioni issue. Why Mwewa ukamba na mavendors, leave them. Basi wazichita trade mu road. Yeah, but if you block the road, it means the business community here does not benefit from accessibility. When the road is accessible, more money comes into the community because people are driving in, driving through, driving out quicker. That's the line of logic. But if you sit and say, no, trade road, it blocks traffic, it slows production, it slows commerce, it slows up the movement of money. That's the line of logic. So my point is, because I have decided to be vocal, I've decided to be active in our community as an active participant. And the right for people to participate in any community effort are stakeholders. Stakeholders that are invested in that community. Not people who have a stand on the street. Those are not stakeholders. They're not. Because they don't pay any council. They pay no statutory obligation. Zero. So that's not a voice you should be listening to. The voice you should be listening to is an invested stakeholder in the community. And this is the reason I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter where you live. As long as you own the house, everything that happens in your community, you have a direct say in it. Don't allow people to intimidate you into thinking, no, Osakambako, Wilalandako. No, that's wrong. That is a chaotic thinking. Oh, wow. That is chaotic thinking. And don't think like that. So let me go back and explain to you the anatomy of the chaos in this new market. First of all, the new market, I've always said that it is important for Lusaka City Council to hire professionals to run that market. I believe it's possible, even though it is a government edifice, even though this market and city market and other markets like it, even though they are government buildings owned by the government, heavily subsidized by the government, and rightly so, in an effort to aid and help our vulnerable women and men who are marketeers. Even though those buildings they belong to the government, I still believe it's possible to run a well-organized market that plays by the rules, that has structure, that has order, that has cleanliness. It's possible. Who says because it belongs to Boma, it must be a chaotic? Who says that? Who says because it belongs to Boma, it must be filthy? Who says that? Who says because it belongs to Boma, there should be this aura, this idea of just utter chaos? No, I believe, especially given the fact that this edifice is a brand new edifice. It is a chance to begin from scratch. Brand new. Why should a brand new building start from the very beginning with chaos? Let me explain. When this market, for a long time, more than 6-7 years, it had been under construction. There were so many irregularities that surrounded the construction of that market. And I won't get into those because I'll digress if I start talking about that. I want to be focused on the main message. On Simon Mwewa, they know it instantly. The moment I posted the video of council police collecting the tables, my goodness, there were more than 200 youth. Came with stones, bricks. You see, and this is why it's never a good idea to have stones and rocks and bricks on the street, because they use those as weapons. And they cornered me. And one of them threw a rock and hit me. But most of the rocks they were throwing, for some reason, miraculously, they were missing me. But the one got me. And then one guy from behind came and just blindsided me, just almost knocked me out. And I began to run upstairs, and they all followed me. Now, in that moment, because they were now screaming, they were saying, "You're the reason we're being removed from the street." Now, let me pause here for a moment. And I don't want to make light of this, because honestly, really, as I was saying in my preamble, I really thought today was the day I was going. I thought they're going to bludgeon me to death, because they came with the bricks and they'll throw the bricks on the ground, and then they'll take a brick and some of them would say, and in that frenzy, it's very unpredictable what could possibly happen. Now, let me pause by saying this. When you have a mob of people that want to blame someone for their ills, because I kept on hearing this in the background, they always say that. Now, I want to pause there for a moment. Muvutika chan. Malo mu market banampasa. What are you suffering from? You were given a space in the market, but you subletted that space. You subletted it. You left the spot that you are legally entitled to. You sublet it at a fee of 3,000 kwacha, knowing full well that council only charges you as the legal owner of that space 300 kwacha. You remove 300 kwacha from the 3,000 kwacha that you have subletted for, and then you keep 2,700. And then you decide, well, I don't have a space, but I've got goods and I have to trade. So let me trade on the steps, which is illegal. But for you to operate on the steps, you have to part with more money to pay the committee members, the council, market masters, for you to trade there. So now, when we bring this to the attention of the town clerk, and we say, TC, this is highly irregular. This is chaos. This is bedlam. We almost died today. And I don't say that lightly. And some of you will say, no, but why didn't you photograph? Why didn't you, when you were being attacked? Yeah, that's easy for you to say, because you didn't have 200 people after you. Very easy for you to say that.